You're listening to NGSC Sports Radio. Hear us live on NGSCsports.com, where you can get awesome analysis for all things sport. Or check out our podcasts on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, iTunes, TuneIn, and much more. For our latest videos, head to NGSC Sports YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at NGSC Sports and like us on Facebook. NGSC Sports. We never stop.
So are you gonna tell me your new low in broadcasting now, or are you saving that?
Oh my goodness, I'll tell you now. This is a great way to start. So, as you know, I've told you about my Rocky Mountain League.
Yeah.
So, I get my text yesterday, and they're like, "Hey, do you mind doing 2 games? We want to do a doubleheader." Yeah, sure, whatever. Pay me. I'm cool with that. Whatever. So they're like, yeah, the games will be at 6 and 8, and you're going to have to switch fields. I'm like, oh, okay. I don't care. That's fine.
That's all right.
So that's not even where any of this comes in. So we get out there, and the game's going on, and everything's fine. And at the end of the 4th inning, it's 7-4. Well, Little League games are 6 innings.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay. So I'm sitting there. I'm like, okay, 7-4, into the 4th. And we'll be right back with the start of the 5th inning. Sitting there, I'm waiting. I suddenly look and both teams are kind of like down the line stretching. I'm like, what's going on here? I look at the umpires. The umpires are just standing around home plate talking, got the mask off, like everybody's kind of up and milling around. I'm like, what's going on here? Why aren't we starting the 5th inning? So after like 4 minutes, I'm kind of like, hey, Blue, when are we going to start this thing back up? He said, oh, the game's over. I said, what?
What?
He said, yeah. He said they're playing. So then I come to find out, because obviously, with everything pushing back, they're trying to get games in as fast as they can.
Uh-huh.
So they are doing, tonight and this week, they're doing double headers. Each team is playing each other twice, and they're playing 4-inning games.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, I was here for 30 freaking minutes before the game, and no one bothered to tell me this.
Oh.
And I'm the freaking one broadcasting the game. I'm like, could someone have maybe told me this? Oh, yeah, man, my bad. The guy who's like my handler, he's like, oh, yeah, my bad. I forgot to tell you. I'm like, it's not like you forgot to tell me, oh, hey, the other team's starting pitcher is hurt. It's like, no, you forgot to tell me the fundamental rule change of the game. I mean, it's been like this doing a football game, and halfway in, I'm like, man, nobody started passing. Like, you say, well, Wes, that's because all forward passes have been Atalanta. Well, that would have been nice to have known. When we go to halftime, welcome to halftime, and you're like, oh, no, the game's over, Johnny. And I'm like, what? So I sat over there for like 5 minutes, and then the next thing you know, the guy's like, oh, yeah, you need to get over to the other field. They're about to start the next game. I'm like, well, Jesus Christ, man. I could have been over there 5 minutes ago. Somebody told me the game ended after 4.
Oh, my God.
So, yeah. I'm kind of hit a new low. It's like, I mean, I'm seriously just sitting there thinking, I'm like, you know what? I don't even care.
Yeah.
I don't even care. Now, you know where that really came in handy was in the second game.
Yeah.
Where the entire 4-inning game lasted 1 hour because it was a pitcher's duel until one team scored 3 runs in the bottom of the 3rd and then got 1, 2, 3 in the top of the 4th.
Nice.
And I was like, oh, we're done in an hour. Yes, I like the 4-inning rule. I can do this. It was like the 2 best teams in the league, and they had a freaking pitcher's duel. So I was like, sweet.
Oh, that is hilarious.
Yeah, so... But I'm just like, at that point, I'm like, this is a new low. We're literally sat on the air for 4 minutes. Like, okay, I guess we're going to start back any time now. And then, oh, the game's over? Thanks for the heads up, guys. I've long got past the point of like, this makes me look stupid.
Yeah.
I've long gotten past that point of caring. You're like, you're stupid. that's fine. My check's still cash.
It'd just be nice to know things sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't ask for much here.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to go like search out my own lineups because they won't even like give me lineup cards. I'm like, okay, I can do some stuff. It's no problem. Could you tell me that we're playing a 4 instead of a 6 inning game?
No.
So like after 4 minutes, I come back online and I'm like, hey folks, so just to update you, we're done with this game. I mean, it's like, the whole game, I'm like, they'll have such and such coming up in the 5th, and no. So, I'm like throwing strategy out there for the entire 4 minutes. And it's like, oh, by the way, we're done. So, I'm an idiot.
Oh, that sucks.
No, it doesn't suck. It is great. It is. This is the epitome of 2020.
Oh.
This is where my broadcast career is done. This will be the highlight for me this year because I don't know if you heard, there will be no high school football until at least February.
Yeah.
If we play high school football.
Yeah. Hey, maybe.
I'm not putting any money on playing high school football.
Yeah. Still trying to stay positive.
I'm really not putting any money on playing college football this year.
I don't know about that.
That is tenuously falling apart. Well, the Big Ten and the Pac-10 have said not going to play.
Yeah, but the SEC and the ACC have said, no, we're still going to.
And you know what? Here's the thing. ACC, the SEC, the Big 12, and the AAC, which are honestly the 4 conferences I have any vested interest in. Don't get me wrong. I love Pac-12 after dark.
Yes.
I mean, that's great. The Big Ten, unless I see Ohio State's losing in the 4th quarter, I ain't watching Big Ten football. So I have no problem with that. It's like, you get that update. With 6 minutes left, Purdue's beating Ohio State by 4. I'm like, all right, I'll check this out. Let's see if they can finish them off. Anything to screw Ohio State up. But other than that, I mean, so at this point, Miami, East Carolina, Georgia, Oklahoma, they're playing. Those are the 4 I've got my most interest. So they're playing. I can live with that. But that said, I don't know if it's going to end up happening because as much as they're saying, well, yeah, we can do this, what are the optics if something does happen and everybody else cancels?
Yeah. Just takes one.
That's the thing. Just takes one. I mean, hopefully everything goes swimmingly. But if something does happen, it is a freaking nightmare scenario. Because then everyone said, well, the Big Ten canceled. Why didn't you cancel? So the SEC, we're men. So, I don't know. I am fully girding my loins for a fall of no meaningful football. Because the NFL's going to play. But as I said, because I'll get no high school and no college. And as you well know, that's really all I give a rat's ass.
That's true.
NFL draft, you know what? I'm cool with the NFL draft. I don't have an issue there. NFL games? Yeah. Like 2.
The NFL draft is like the nice coda on the players you follow in college football, their careers.
Exactly. That is exactly what it is. The NFL draft is the bow on top of the gift that they gave me by playing college football. That is the bow. Hey guys, I am glad you're gonna get the chance to get paid and go do your thing. But now I'm done with you. So
good luck.
The only time I'll care is if you play for the Panthers, and that's only because I'm praying for your downfall at that point. Unless your name is Tom Brady and you're gorgeous, but other than that, that's
true. True.
I'm done with you. Thanks, guys. It was fun. Thanks for the memories. That's why the guys who are opting out, I'm kind of like, I understand why you're opting out. I don't have much use for you anymore. Gregory Rousseau, Miami defensive end. Love you, bro. You're out. It's fine. Bye. I don't have much to do with you anymore. I hope you get drafted first overall, and it'll be awesome for Miami. I'm much more interested in the 3-star wide receiver from Miami Northwestern that we're, that we just committed for next year. I'm much more interested in him than you're not.
Fun times.
So is everyone else enjoying their COVID 2020? It's just been great.
Absolutely wonderful. And that's why you're listening to this, the Foreign Fair podcast, because it couldn't get better. JK.
Can't get right now because there's no
JK, dudes. JK. Welcome to the Foreign Fair podcast. I'm Edward Green, joined as always by McCullen Crime, Wes Bradshaw, and we do have a fun one to talk to you about today. There was some dramatica in the Champions League, as well as sort of in the Europa League this week. And it was not a fun time to be from Atlanta, or Atalanta, I guess, too. So we're definitely going to talk about that. We're also going to hit, of course, the news and notes. Big news coming out of Italy after some of the results from the round of 16 in the Champions League. And a few more things to hit on there. And then, of course, we'll do the Watch 4, see what's going on in the world of television and movies. Which, if it's a movie, probably not
as
much.
important as this whole Champions League and Europa has been, the most important thing of all, Liverpool and Spurs have new guys.
Yeah!
So we'll hit that definitely because it's our teams, and we know I love nothing more than transfers. It's almost as fun as Liverpool winning the title. But transfers are almost that.
The Hoiberg media blitz the last couple days has been very interesting to watch. I will say that.
The Hoiberg has been interesting.
Oh, well. So we're going to get to that, of course, in the news and notes as well. As always, podcast is presented by NGSC Sports at NGSCsports.com. We never stop. But unfortunately for some teams in the Champions League, their run has come to an end. When last we left you, we still had a little bit to finish up in the round of 16. 4 matches were played on Friday. We got the conclusion to the Manchester City-Real Madrid duel, which, much like the first leg, also finished 2-1 in favor of City as they win 4-2 on aggregate. Not a day to cover Real Madrid's defense in glory on this one, as Gabriel Jesus as well as Raheem Sterling were both gifted goals in this match to propel Man City back to the round of 8, where luckily for them, they don't have to face a Premier League team this year and get knocked out. So they will be moving on, and for this, Zinedine Zidane's first Champions League knockout as a manager. So that is a big stat that has finally been broken here. It's, of course, in 2020. Elsewhere, and then we'll talk some more about these matches in just a moment, but elsewhere on the 7th, Juventus did beat Lyon 2-1. Ronaldo with a brace to cancel out Memphis Depay's early penalty, but it was not enough as it finished 2-2 on aggregate, and Lyon, with the one away goal they had in that part of the tie, do advance. And with it came news that we'll get to later, but just to briefly mention now, this was Maurizio Sarri's last match in charge at Juventus. He was let go after this one as Juventus tumble out of the Champions League to conclude a fairly disappointing season for the Serie A champions. On the 8th, the matches were not as close. Bayern Munich continued throttling Chelsea 4-1. Robert Lewandowski with a brace. Tammy Abraham with the lone Chelsea goal in this one. And then Barcelona kind of cruised past Napoli 3-1. There was all goals come in the first half. Lorenzo Insigne with the one goal for Napoli as Lionel Messi stole the show yet again and pushed Barcelona through, which set up our quarterfinals of Man City versus Lyon, Leipzig versus Atletico, Barcelona versus Bayern. Holy shit, that's a quarterfinal match. And then Atalanta versus PSG. The Atalanta-PSG match took place earlier today, but before we hit that match, Wes, anything you want to talk about from the quarterfinals? Anything jump out at you from there?
Rapid Ron, who is an immaculate, fantastic, one of the best defenders in the world.
Not a good day.
Just had an absolute horrible show. I can't blame Ramos for this. Well, you can't kind of blame Ramos for this.
Sure.
He got his stupid ass suspended for the second straight year for the biggest match of the year, and they lost. So, you know what? F you, Ramos. This is your fault once.
Yes.
Yes, at the end of the day, it's your Ramos' fault. Vince, wow.
That's bad.
I mean, you talk about bigger disappointment just on paper. Basically for none other than the whole Ronaldo thing.
Yeah.
And that said, I mean, how can you can't put this on Ronaldo. Hell,
No.
without Ronaldo, they're not even anywhere near where they are right now.
True. Yeah.
Juventus have been very poorly assembled over the past 3 or 4 years.
Mm-hmm. They went sort of with the early 2000 Yankees motto of let's just throw a bunch of money at people and see if it sticks together in a coherent package.
And it's like they got like crazy for free transfers.
Yeah.
Just don't get me wrong. I mean, a free transfer is nice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're talking to a Liverpool fan who, James Milner is like going down in legend for us as our greatest free transfer maybe of all time. We love a good free transfer. But at the same time, every single guy, it seems like in Europe, whose contract was running down, so he's going to Juventus. Why did they sign Aaron Ramsey?
I don't know.
Why did they sign? And that's nothing against Aaron Ramsey. I think Aaron Ramsey's a really good player, but he did not. There was nowhere in that team for him to play at Juventus.
Mm-hmm.
It was ridiculous. The kid from PSG, I can see him putting Rabiot.
Yeah.
Why did they sign Rabiot? Why did they sign Emre Can? I mean, they've already sold Emre Can to Dortmund.
Mm-hmm.
There's talk that they are desperately trying to sell Aaron Ramsey at this point.
Yeah.
Nobody wants Rabiot here.
I mean, there was a chance Dybala was going to move this past summer. Or winter, sorry.
And then the guy who was like maybe their best player this year, they tried to get rid of last year.
Yeah.
They have no idea what they're doing. 1 year of Sarri, I mean, one thing we know about Sarri is he has to have a team basically built for him.
Yeah.
And for some reason, Chelsea didn't realize this. They gave him Jorginho, but that was about it. And Juventus don't recognize it. I mean, who's running? I don't know who's running things at Juventus right now because, congratulations, you won Scudetto again. I mean, you have more better players than everybody else. That's why you're winning Scudetto.
Right.
But the only thing that supposedly matters to them is Champions League, and they keep getting worse every year at it. And then on top of it, I don't know if this is in news or notes, but they fire Sarri and they bring in Pirlo.
Yeah, so you can go ahead and talk about that now if you want to.
We can do it now. Magnificent head of hair.
Of course.
Gorgeous, beautiful man. Beautiful game. Was one of the immaculate players of the last decade. Pirlo never managed nobody. I mean,
But Wes,
Frank went to Derby first. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, but Wes, Zinedine Zidane, we just mentioned him. He said such great success, and he didn't have that much after just coaching Barcelona's B team. Pep Guardiola did.
But they had some. Yeah. That's the thing. They had been in charge of something. Steven Gerrard at Rangers had been in charge of Liverpool's under 18s at least.
Yeah.
He had some. He had some experience somewhere. Pirlo, basically a week ago, was hired to be the under-23 manager. And then they turned around and they fired Sarri, and they're like, all right, we'll just make Pirlo the manager. So, what the damn. So it's like, he was on the right track. And then it's like, oh, no, screw this. He can do it. No problem. Oh, my goodness. Who is calling the shots at Juventus? That's why I need to know who's calling the shots at Juventus because I need to put this person on blast.
Absolutely.
I don't know who it is. I need to put him on blast. I mean, I know, You know, we know at Madrid it's Perez. We know at Barcelona it's what's his face. I could easily find who it is. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we know at United it's Edward. Trust me, we definitely know at United it's Edward.
Well, and just reading this article from The Athletic that I was going to base the news and notes story on, there's a lot of quotes in here from their president, Andrea Agnelli. And, you know, there's been some talk, and he even mentions it, about how old Juventus is. And this is something, you know, we've talked about with different teams. You know, we even talked about it a little bit with Barcelona, oddly enough. But it's like, how long do you keep riding these players? And you mentioned it, all credit to Ronaldo. He wasn't the problem, but he's also not getting any younger. And there's a lot of players on this team who play key roles who are either injury prone or starting to be on the wrong side of their career. And I don't know, unless there's a almost Manchester City like reload, that Pirlo can come in and have any more success than Sarri would have had in a second year, able to more wholly build the squad to his liking.
Well, one thing I've heard is that one reason that helped Pirlo is because Pirlo's not going to come in and say you need to buy me new players.
Sure.
I don't think they have much money to spend.
Mm-hmm.
Because they are so indebted right now with these huge contracts. You know, everybody looks at a free transfer like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, a lot of times with free transfers, you end up spending the same money. It's just, who does it go to? Does it go to the agent for the agent fees? Or does it go to Borussia Dortmund or whoever, you know? I don't think you're going to see much major movement at Juventus this year. Maybe some outs. I don't think you're going to see much major coming in because I don't really think they've got the free capital to do much.
Mm-hmm.
They brought in Pirlo because Pirlo, they're going to be like, well, Pirlo's not going to come in and tell me I need 6 new players. Pirlo's going to come in and be like, oh, I can work with this. Sure. It's almost like the Frank Lampard signing was. It's like, we're signing because you know, he's not going to ask for, you know, he's not going to be Mourinho and say, I need 200 million pounds. So, I'm shaking my head. I mean, you got to give him one more year. You know, Ronaldo has 2 years left on the contract. I think he's definitely got another year he can go at a really high level.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know if the team around, but it's good enough. I mean, they brought in Artur from Barcelona.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that'll help. But, I mean, they were so poor in midfield this year. Just so poor overall. Ronaldo and Tamalo papered over a lot of cracks for them this year. And now Delic is going to be out until at least November due to a shoulder injury he picked up in that match. They are old as all out in their defense. For however good he may have been, your goalie is Logan Chesney.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. And the way Inter have been coming on and Lazio have been coming on and Atalanta, I think we might be coming up on the year where Scudetto finally switches hands.
Well,
that's not an issue for them.
Mm-hmm.
Everything points to they could be like, you know, fuck Scudetto, win championship.
Sure.
If you don't win Scudetto, we're not going to hold that against you, but go win the Champions League.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know. I just don't think they're built to win a Champions League.
I think when you look at the rest of Europe, it's hard to see that really happening. There's at least 5-6 clubs better than them. I don't know.
Easily.
Really tough.
I mean, I don't think they're on City, Liverpool, really Real, Bayern. They're not on that level.
Mm-hmm.
Barca, it makes me sing, but Messi's still better than what they have. So.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Ronaldo fanboys, but at this point, Ronaldo does what he does. It's not Messi.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to impact a game that don't have to involve scoring, which is not something that we can say about some of the players at Paris Saint-Germain, as Wes Bradshaw texted me earlier today. But it didn't matter. It didn't end up mattering. How's that? For once, it didn't end up mattering. As we turn our head to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, they're starting off. The next couple days are going to see some very big matches. None more than Friday's matchup between Barcelona and Bayern Munich for a trip to the semifinals. That is going to be dynamite. But first, before we preview those other couple of matches coming, we did have one play today. It's Paris Saint-Germain 2, Atalanta 1. Atalanta coming through with the first goal from Mario Pasalic. Just a great run of play from them. Being able to just do a quick 1-2 and then him just side-footing it right into the goal past PSG's goalkeeper, who I can see with his blonde locks that are clearly bleached and completely forgot his name.
Keylor Navas.
Yes, Keylor Navas. Thank you.
Who's only won the Champions League 3 times.
I can see him. I saw him with his bleach blonde hair today, and I'm like, I don't remember his name. Yes, Keylor Navas. Nothing to do on that one, as it became Atalanta 1-0, and they tried to hold on for dear sweet, dear life against PSG. But when you can bring on a guy like Kylian Mbappe, it doesn't matter how many times Neymar's going to scuff a shot or how many times Icardi isn't going to finish a run. PSG's going to find a way. And
they bring out their superstar substitute.
Yes. As in the late stages of the match, another scuffed pass from Neymar eventually found its way to Marquinhos, who happened to be just right place, right time to equalize it in the 90th minute. And then Mbappe finding Choupo-Moting in the 93rd minute to break Atalanta's heart, make it 2-1. And again, remember, at this stage of the competition now, with the condensed schedule, these are one-leg ties. So that was it in Portugal for Atalanta. A thrilling run this year in the Champions League. Looked like they were about to pull off an Ajax-like run and make it into the semifinals. But unfortunately for them, like Ajax at the end of their run, they were undone in the last minute as well. And I got to fault at Atalanta a little bit, Wes. I mean, they just, for as much as we hyped up their attacking high press offense, and it was there in the first half, it kind of evaporated in the second half, and it looked like they were just trying to hang on to that 1-0 lead. But as for PSG, they were pretty bad. They were genuinely bad. So it's great. I believe that they said this is the first time in 25 years PSG has made it to the semifinal of the top European competition. So congratulations to them with all the heartbreak they've had over the last couple of years as they've tried to build up through their nouveau riche regime. Good night for them to get a win, but it didn't inspire me with a lot of confidence going forward and with such a quick turnaround. But hey, Wes, they finally did it. They got the monkey off the back, and they're through.
They are. The thing is, Neymar, we're going to kill Neymar for the misses he had today, which were abysmal.
They were bad.
But I'm going to tell you, man, Neymar, especially in that first half, God, he was the only guy from PSG who did anything.
He ran his ass off.
I mean, he did. I will give it to Neymar. He worked about as hard as Neymar can work today. He still doesn't get back and play any defense. But I mean, that's just. I mean, what are you asking here? I mean, square peg round hole not going to work. But as far as creating and making opportunities and trying to set up other people, Neymar did everything he could. When, as you said, when Icardi doesn't want to finish a run.
Yeah.
When other guys, Neymar's giving them balls in good spots and they're just like kicking it out of play. at the end of the day, there's only so much Neymar could do. I mean, he could have hit some of those damn shots that he was one-on-one for. But until the introduction of Mbappe, PSG looked, they I wouldn't say they looked rudderless because I think they had a rudder. It's like they had a rudder with just nowhere to go to.
Mm-hmm.
Neymar was doing everything in his power, but nobody could finish anything. Enter Mbappe, and suddenly Atalanta's having to sit back deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And once you finally let PSG in the box with Mbappe and Neymar and those guys out there, it's really just a matter of time and them hitting chances that they're going to have. They are that good and that dangerous in the box.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw it today. And it literally took them 90 full minutes. Yeah. And then they got stoppage time, and it happened. Atalanta was completely out of gas by the end of that match.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when you get a couple of goals and you're running and gunning, those legs don't seem to get heavy because you've got all that adrenaline.
Mm-hmm.
When you're a team who's so used to pushing tempo and pushing, when it suddenly becomes you having to drop back and play defense,
mm-hmm.
that will take a lot out of you. The freedom to run and do what you want makes things a lot easier in this world.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, for Gasparini and his guys, just went on a few minutes too long, and they just couldn't finish. I mean, they gave it everything. You'll never say in this match that Atalanta didn't play their asses completely off.
Mm-hmm.
But it just didn't have enough left. Just didn't have enough left in the tank to finish.
Yeah, real shame. This could have been a real fun one. A real.
Cool. Yeah. Wrong. It was freaking cool seeing them get that far.
Also did want to mention, talking about Navas, he did pick up an injury in this one. I haven't seen how bad it is going forward. I do know he had to come out around the 80th minute and made way for his substitute, but I don't know if he'll be able – I haven't heard anything if he'll be able to be ready for their match in a couple days' time. So that will be something to look out for going forward as PSG take it back to the pitch. They'll be playing on August 18th against either Atletico Madrid or Leipzig. So two fairly disparate teams going up against each other there. And again, the other matches, that is tomorrow or today. So by the time you listen to this, that match is probably finished up. Friday will be Barcelona versus Bayern. Saturday will be Manchester City versus Lyon. Man City, this is kind of your chance. This is it. This is your one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. Any thoughts going in? Because obviously, we've talked about some of the favorites going forward. Obviously, that Barcelona Bayern tie looks to be really good. Anything you're looking out for in these final three quarterfinal matchups, Wes?
Just for Kevin Beat Bombs spaghetti.
Nice.
Or B-Rabbit, whoever you want to give that credit to. There's so much to look forward to here. I think at the current point we're at, with Atletico's got to be a definite favorite over Leipzig.
Mm-hmm.
Leipzig not having the dangerous team over who meant so much to him. He's gone. That sucks. I hate that. But, I think that's going to play more into Atletico's hands. So I think Atletico's going to go through, and Atletico and PSG is going to be a fascinating match. I'll think if we get that. Everybody's all hyped for Bayern and Barcelona.
It could disappoint. Barcelona could just, shit the bed.
I have no freaking idea how Barcelona stay in that match.
Yeah.
I think Bayern are going to beat the hell out of Barcelona.
It's a sexy name matchup.
Yeah, very sexy name matchup. Well, out of everybody left, they're the only two teams who've ever won it.
That's true.
So, I mean, obviously the pedigree and the fact that they have this. And that's the thing. That is the only chance to me that Marsa have in this, is they're going to have one of those epic messy nights where he makes Jerome Boateng regret that he ever came back on the pitch. So, I mean, that's the only way that can go Barcelona's way. Right now, I don't like to say it, I mean, Bayern, to me, are the team to beat. Even more so than City. I think Bayern are the team to beat right now. So that's the Friday match. Saturday match, I mean, once again, I don't really see how Lyon beat City. I mean, as we know, City's kryptonite is quarterfinal Premier League clubs. So we don't really know what happens to them after that. So, we'll see. And then let me think real quick. So if that happens, we would have Bayern versus Atletico. No, would it be Bayern City?
Yes, it would be Bayern City and PSG versus Atletico.
Oh, now we're talking about Bayern City. That, to me, is the matchup of the tournament.
Are you willing to say, Wes, that semifinal is the final?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Just because, once again, if we get Atletico and PSG, here's the thing. PSG have match winners. We know that. I mean, will they show up?
Yeah, true.
Therein lies the question. Will they show up? They have match winners. On top of that, I think Atletico is the matchup nightmare for everybody.
Yeah.
Saw what they did to Liverpool. And I'm sorry, I'll say it. Call me a homer. I don't give a shit because I've got 4 reigning trophies right now. I still think Liverpool are the best team in the world. And Atletico are the only ones that figured them out. And did it over 2 legs and did it at Anfield.
Yeah.
So what that tells me is Atletico, on their day, Atletico can take anybody. Atletico is a team, if they get an early goal, you are in for 88 minutes of hell after that because Simeone will not let you breathe. You will not get a break on anybody because someone will tackle you. They will foul you. They have no problem muddying and uglying the game and doing what it takes to win. Now, that's not saying that if it's Bayern Atletico, I'm picking Atletico. But I think if Atletico it'll be Atletico or PSG if you ask me. I don't think either of them is going to be just a rollover in the final. Now, that said, I could see PSG getting beat 4-1. Don't get me wrong, but I can also see PSG beating somebody 3-2. Just because you've got Neymar, you've got Mbappe, you've got on his day Carter. You've got those guys. You've got Choupo-Moting.
And the crazy thing is, unlike a lot of other tournaments, and I mentioned this some last week, in 36 minutes as we're recording this, we'll be 10 days from the finals. We haven't finished the quarterfinals yet. We played 1 quarterfinal match, and we'll be 10 days from the finals. This is going to be such a sprint to the finish.
Well, and I'll ask you the question because they've been asking this on other podcasts. I have my opinion. Do you like this better than the 2 legs? Would you like to see them keep this over the 2 legs?
I think it depends. It depends on what you want out of the Champions League. If you want the best teams to win the Champions League, you keep 2-leg ties. If you want to turn this into the NCAA basketball tournament and have upsets, go for 1 leg. And I'm not opposed to that. I don't say that mockingly. I say that reverently. I love the NCAA basketball tournament and for what it can do.
And that comes from two guys who don't regularly watch NCAA basketball during the regular season.
Exactly, but the tournament's amazing, and it's because
tournament, the NCAA tournament, we're all in on that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the one and done nature of it. That's why, and yes, if for some reason Atalanta PSG had been 1-1 in the first leg, this drama could have still happened. But both teams, this was their first time playing against each other, and they knew coming in, it's 90 minutes. If you're tied, we're going to extra time, and if you're still tied, you're going to penalties. There's no second leg. There's no extra 90. It's just one match to decide it all. And I think that is really, really cool. Now, if you're Bayern, if you're City, if you're one of the two Spanish clubs, maybe you kind of hate that because as the traditionally stronger teams, you will win more two-leg ties. I mean, there was I think this was maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, Shakhtar beat Bayern 2-0 in like the round of 16 in the first leg and then got obliterated in the second leg. It's kind of cool when things happen like that. So I think from my perspective, more upsets are a good thing. I enjoy that. I like having this. Hell, we talked about last week about how the domestic leagues have gotten boring because the same teams always win. And the Champions League is sort of like that. It's not as strong, and Ajax made their run last year. Atalanta almost made a run this year. So we do have that a little bit, but it's always, Real Madrid's, the Barcelonas, Liverpool winning it again. It's a lot of the same names cropping up recently. I read an article, on The Athletic, shockingly enough, that, we're just showing off where other clubs had won it from countries like Romania and Yugoslavia and Portugal and the Dutch leagues. They were winning the Champions League or the top European competition. And I think we've lost some of that. And I don't know that one-leg ties are going to be the be-all, end-all to bring that sort of diversity back. But I think it'd be fun. I don't think it'll happen because I think the big clubs have too much sway, and it benefits the big clubs to have a two-leg tie as long as they can. But I don't know. I genuinely think one-leg ties would be more entertaining. They'd be more fun to watch. But that's my diatribe of and my Americanism maybe seeping through a little bit.
Complete European elitist.
Of course.
I like the two-leg ties because for me, at the end of the day, yes, I love the upsets in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. It's fun to see George Mason make that run to the final. Or it's fun to see, sorry, Virginia fan, it's fun to see UMBC knock off the number 1 seed. Mm-hmm. That's freaking cool. But you know what I don't want? Don't want my Final Four full of UMBC, Texas Tech, George Mason, and Kansas State.
Well, let me ask you this. How did you feel, and I'm picking this one intentionally because the other one was shit. How did you feel about the Butler-Duke final from, I guess, 10 years ago now? When Gordon Hayward missed the shot at the end that would have won it for Butler in the final? How did you feel about that? Were you okay with that because Butler actually looked like a really good team?
Well, here's my thing with Butler is Butler and, say, even Gonzaga in college basketball terms are on sort of a different level there because those are year in, year out good programs. Mine is more like, not to take anything away from Ajax last season. And obviously Ajax is a different thing here because, in the 70s Ajax was the be-all, end-all. In the early 90s Ajax was the be-all, end-all. Ajax, it was a 1 year run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
it was a one-time thing. Atalanta, don't get me wrong, I was pulling for Atalanta. I don't think this is going to be something that Atalanta continues to do.
Mm-hmm.
This is some real, like, out of left field shit, you know?
Right.
To an extent, Spurs from last season.
Yeah, sure.
That was kind of out of left field. I mean, Spurs, give them credit. I mean, now give them credit for what they did, but Spurs called a nice draw, you know? I mean, they didn't get Real Madrid in the semifinal. They got Ajax. Mm-hmm. And there is a difference to that, playing it over 2 legs especially. Mm-hmm. I'm one, at the end of the day, I want to see the best teams with the best players going head-to-head. For me, now, don't get me wrong, I take absolutely nothing away from Liverpool's Champions League win last year over Tottenham. Mm-hmm. It almost, I'm not going to say it would have meant more, but aesthetically, it would have meant more to have beaten Real here before, because you would have beaten
I understand. Yeah.
And, you know, and that's not a shot against Tottenham at all. You happen to be a Tottenham fan.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah.
You know, it would have been aesthetically more pleasing to have beaten Real Madrid.
Sure, I understand.
And at the end of the day, that's what I like. Now, let's just say Champions League in general. I'm going to watch the Champions League final if I can. If I'm off work, I'm watching the Champions League final. I don't care if it's Ajax versus Atalanta. I'm going to watch it. Mm-hmm. But you know, for me, who I've got so much crap going on in my life, if I'm finding must-see viewing, like, you know what's must-see viewing for me is going to be Bayern versus Man City. Mm-hmm. I've got to see that. You know, we know those are the 2 absolute elite. Got to see that. If it's, let's just say Leipzig versus PSG, I'm not exactly killing myself or changing my life schedule around to watch PSG versus Leipzig.
Sure, I understand.
So I guess to finish this long, rambling rant I'm going on here, I like some mixed-in upsets in my life. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, call me a snob. I like my blue bloods at the end of the day. I want to see my Barças, my Bayerns, my Liverpools, Reals, Manchester United. I actually want to see Manchester United by any means. So that's just more sheer hatred. But those are the teams that at the end of the day, I think are going to give you the best show and are going to give you the best football.
Yeah.
And they're like my 2-leg ties. Because I'll tell you, just from a year ago, without leg number 2, the greatest night ever at Anfield doesn't happen.
Hey, same for Tottenham that we don't beat Ajax. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, I understand the final being a one-off, go get them. Mm-hmm. But I like my home and aways. And also, I think, you know, if you go to the single, you're going to have to go to neutral venues for them.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And then you totally take away Anfield. You take away the Bernabeu. You take away, you know, the Allianz. You take those meccas of football. You take them out of the equation.
Right.
And I think you lose a lot in the aesthetic. I mean, it was a great match today. Did Lisbon add anything to that?
No.
Yeah, I had to think a few times, like, where are they at again? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I would say I wouldn't be upset either way. If they wanted to go to this one and done, I'd be pretty happy. If they want to stay with 2-leg ties going forward, I'd be pretty happy with that too. Because I can honestly see the merit both ways. So 2-leg ties means more football. It does mean more drama, and it does give teams a chance to rebound. At the same time, then you're starting to rely on the away goal rule, which has become less and less popular over the last couple of years, and I understand that. So one and done would sort of get rid of that whole thing. So it's an interesting debate, and it's one where I'm happy either way. So both sides have good points to it. So yeah, that's the Champions League. Again, when next we talk, the quarterfinals will finish, and I do believe the semifinals will also be done. Yes, the semifinals will also be done as well. So we will be able next week to do a quarterfinal, semifinal recap and a preview of the final in Lisbon on August 23rd. That'll be a lot of fun. So that'll be coming up here as well in the Europa League. That's still going on. United kind of squeaking past Copenhagen. 1-0 in added extra time. Bruno Fernandes with a penalty there. They get through. Unfortunately, Wolves were not able to go through. They had a missed penalty in the match early on, which ended up coming back to bite them against Sevilla. Sevilla striking late on through in the 88th minute.
Sevilla with a much better team.
Oh, absolutely. It is one of those things where you wonder, could Wolves have changed the match if they had converted that early penalty? But overall, yes, Sevilla were definitely deserving to go through on the night through Lucas Ocampos. So unfortunately, Wolves' run does come to an end in the quarterfinals of Europa. It does also, I'm pretty sure, because there would have still been a thing where if Wolves had won Europa, Tottenham, I think, would have actually been knocked out of Europa somehow. So there is that.
Well, if they had won Europa, then they would have just gone to the Champions League.
Yeah, but I think you can only have 7 teams. So...
But weren't Wolves already in Europa for next year?
No, because... because Arsenal won the FA Cup. So because Wolves finished 7th, Arsenal took their spot from winning the FA Cup. But if Wolves had become the 5th Champions League team, a confederation, I think, can only have 7 teams over both European Cups. So Tottenham would have actually, I think, been knocked out.
Gotcha.
So it's a weird rule, but you're so close. But Wolves, unfortunately, do fall just short, which does bring us to a dynamite semifinal for United as they take on that Sevilla team. In the other semifinal, it will be Inter versus Shakhtar. That will be on, I believe that's Sunday, Monday, because that's a Europa kind of feel to it. Sunday, Monday. But hey, I will say, 4 pretty good teams to have in your Europa final: Sevilla, United, Inter, and Shakhtar. That's not bad.
That's all I need. Just somebody not United though.
Well, maybe
United Inter would be a great.
Yeah, and Sevilla have been English killers in the past, so we'll see if they can continue that up here going forward. As I'm going to do that real quick. All right. So that is going to do it for our soccer talk. We are going to hit the news and notes now. We did talk about Juventus hiring Pirlo, so we got through that story. Wes, do you want to talk about your new signing, Kostas Tsimikas?
Yeah. It's definitely talking about a young man, 24 years of age, just turned 24, from Thessaloniki, Greece. Coming from Olympiacos, will be coming to initially be backup for Ramo, Andy Robertson, with his eye on unseating Ramo. But you know what? Come on, son.
Competition is great.
If he knocks Andy Robertson out, that means we got a hell of a player on our team. So, apparently, in scouting, you wouldn't think of these things. It seems like, so 2 weeks ago, Liverpool were like, oh, we're going for Jamal Lewis. And Norwich is like, well, you're going to pay $20 million. We're like, no, we're not. And here's what we'll pay you if you want to They're like, no, we're not going to pay that. So we're like, okay, next. And like 2 days later, it's like, all right, we're signing this guy. And you're sitting there like, who the fuck is this guy? I've never heard of him. And then you get into it, and it's like, yeah, Liverpool have been scouting for like 3 years. It's like, Jesus Christ, of course they have. As I just watched Brian go into that massive shot. Oh, God, it got robbed.
Oh.
Son of a bitch.
Oh, be good.
He hit a bomb yesterday. Would have hit another one today. And he got, oh, man, Homeboy went over the fence to pull it in. God, Brian scares me. Anyway. So like we've been stepping this through for like 3 years. I don't know shit about the Greek league. But apparently Liverpool over there like, oh yeah, we're gonna find a fucking world beater over here. So Kostas Tsimikas, he's been to Liverpool. He's done his physical. He's gonna be wearing number 21, which obviously I love a good 21. That's my number. So I'm very interested to watch him. This has been a position for 2 years that we're like, we have no freaking depth here. If Robbo gets hurt, we are totally screwed. Milner filled in admirably, but you lose so much with James Milner playing like that compared to Andy Robertson.
Mm-hmm.
And if this guy comes in and is who we think he is, that definitely has just strengthened Liverpool's squad. At the end of the day, that's, you've got people who want a bunch of change on the squad, which I don't understand at all. No, we need to add depth. We need to try to strengthen from a position of strength. And I think with this signing, that's exactly what we're doing. I think it's a very astute signing for Liverpool. Hopefully he lives up to it, but I can't complain one bit about it. And as you know, I live my life by the motto of Klopp we trust.
Yes.
So if Jurgen Klopp wants it, who the hell am I to say, oh, this is stupid? There are plenty of Liverpool fans like that. As you know, I am not one.
Well, we will see. It's always weird coming out of those Greek leagues. You never know. You don't want what's the Arsenal guy? Konstantinos Papadopoulos.
Sure. Our last Greek player was God. I remember he was there like in the. It was like when everything was kind of going to shit. We had a Greek Kyriakos, something like that. He had this like long dark ponytail and like this this constant 5 o'clock shadow, and he looked like the poster boy for like, come to Greece, have olive oil, have tzatziki, have a carol. It's like, okay, dude, I'm down with that. This sounds really fun. Let's go to the beach. So I'm excited to have a Greek guy back because I do enjoy the name. I love a good European name. And he goes by Kostas, but his real name is Konstantinos.
Oh. Constantine. Hope he's not chasing devils and stuff. Constantine.
He's going to be chasing the red devils.
Hey, got him.
We're going to get your ass, Ollie. You're coming at you, Ollie. They're so sharp.
We'll get to them in a second. But first, Tottenham also made a big move, getting Pierre-Emile Højbjerg for £15 from Southampton, as the great Southampton exodus never really finished. It's still going. The Dane is coming over to replace Christian Eriksen, obviously, because now Spurs have a Dane back in their team, so that's good. But also... This is a hell of a Josie signing. Given the amount of money I'm sure he was told he could spend. But this seems like very much a guy who is going to get into the midfield, into that defensive back, and he is going to just fuck shit up. And that's there is a word that begins with C and ends with U next Tuesday that I think would describe Højbjerg a little bit, and would describe his role in a Josie system, and that seems like what he's going to do here. But obviously very talented. He was Southampton's captain until he informed the club that he wasn't going to be staying with them after this year. And hey, I'm excited. I know it's not a sexy signing. I do think it could be a very big piece that Tottenham has going forward. It means they don't have to play Winks and Sissoko again, which, no disrespect to them, Højbjerg should be better than both of them and should fit into that defensive midfield back shield very nicely. So I'm very keen to see how Højbjerg will work in this team. It does mean that I think Josie definitely has at least some influence on what's going on, which means they're listening to him, which means they're planning on him sticking around a little while, which is obviously always a concern with Josie. But yeah, I'm excited about this. Again, not a flashy signing, not a sexy signing, but when you're working on kind of a budget, these are the signings I think that can make or break you. And hopefully this will be a good one for Spurs coming up here. Kyle Walker-Peters will be staying with Southampton after he was loaned out to them this year as well. And I think that's about. Oh yeah, and Spurs Twitter's going crazy. I think Højbjerg's been in like every single post they've made over the last 2 days. So gotta pimp the new signing. But.
By the way, looks like Josie's going to be sticking around for a while as coach for 3 years in Cloud Coast.
There you go. One signing that may not happen is who knows though, is Jadon Sancho not going to United, as some Dortmund official put it. I believe, I don't have the story anymore, unfortunately, but something to the effect of how Ed Woodward will massively underbid so he can save face in his failure to sign Sancho. That's big talk out of Dortmund's camp. And they've
absolutely true, but yeah.
Yeah, and then they've been saying, hey, Sancho's staying. This sounds an awful lot like how they talked about Dembele a year or two ago, West Bradshaw, so I don't know how much credence I give to this talk. But we shall see. This still continues to be, I think, the biggest transfer saga going forward.
I hate to say it, I really do think he's going to end up there this summer. All these things that Dortmund are saying are absolutely brilliant because they're putting Ed Woodward on the spot.
Of course.
So here's the thing. A, they're going to get Sancho. And you know what they're going to pay for Sancho?
A lot.
They're going to pay what the hell Dortmund want for Sancho.
Yes.
Because now he's throwing it out there. Oh yeah, well of course he's gonna give us an offer and it's gonna be low, and then he's gonna be like, well I tried, and now what we're doing, they're going, shit. Now what the hell am I gonna do? Now I've got to sign. How much did they want? Well, they want 120 million pounds, boss. Will they take 122 million for him? Yeah, they probably will. God, give him 124 million.
Oh man.
I would, my confidence in this deal happening, I'm going full on 75% that I think it is going to happen.
Yeah, that's fine.
And they're going to pay very close to 120 million for it.
It's a lot.
Now that's your money.
Oh man.
They're going to pay right out what they want. They'll be like, we give it to you for 117. What do you say? Oh, that's great. See, look, I got them for less. Good job, me. Yeah. And then
go ahead. Oh man. Are there any other transfers that have caught your eye, or any other transfer news you want to break right here?
I don't have anything to break. Well, I mean, obviously, as a Liverpool fan, this whole Thiago Alcantara thing is still going. To me, I mean, now, just as a signing itself, it is totally not a normal Liverpool signing. He's 29, he's somewhat injury prone, he's going to want a shit ton of money. As a player, I think he gives Liverpool a shit ton of flexibility. He also gives us a guy who can break down the deep block, which we see more and more now.
Mm-hmm.
That said, here's the other thing. Kostas Tsimikas. How, before they were like, oh, breaking news, yeah, Liverpool signing the staff. You know, often I heard about Costas Tsimikas.
Not very.
None. I've never heard the guy's name until it's like, oh yeah, Liverpool signed him. That's how Liverpool works in the transfer market. You don't hear about it for 2 months and then they sign them. It's not like United where you're hearing the whole Jadon Sancho. You're hearing everything that's back and forth. The media's all over. That's how United signed people. That's how City signed people. That's how Arsenal. I'll take that back. Arsenal signed people quick because suddenly they're like, crap, we got to sign somebody. Who can we pay? And to me, with this so much of it going back and forth, I'm not really putting much stock in putting Yates out there. Would it be an awesome signing? Really, I do think it would be. That said, I could also see Liverpool waiting a year because this is the last year of his contract. If they don't sell him, I could see him, signing on a free next year. But we'll see. We'll see. That's obviously the big one in my universe right now. But
all right.
We'll see. That's the big one I've still got an eye on.
Well, some other news coming out of a not very important place, I would say, but kind of interesting. This is I don't know. Where's Gloucester? Exactly. Gloucestershire Northern Senior League. This is the 12th level of the pyramid for the English football pyramid. So if you, it's way down. But just an interesting story. They have decided to abandon next season instead of doing a traditional, double round robin. Everybody plays a home and away. They're just going to do a revamped and expanded competition instead of like a actual league schedule. So obviously very low on the totem pole, but just interesting to see if maybe this idea starts to make its way up the pyramid. I don't think it would make it up very far, but who knows? In the days of trying to figure out what's best, does a double round robin home and home still work? Who knows? This is an interesting trial bubble that a 12th level league in England is trying out. So good on you guys. Hope it works out for you.
By the way, Gloucestershire is hold on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm lost.
Okay.
Apparently, it's kind of near Swindon and Oxford, and not far from Cardiff.
Oh, okay. All right. It's by the Millennium Wheel-ish. And then lastly, because we like to make fun of United, but to an extent. This is an ESPN story. Sources: Man United's Jones gets Twitter apology.
Anything with Phil Jones makes me so happy. Because it's never going to be about playing well.
Twitter has apologized to Phil Jones after appearing to mock the Manchester United defender on their site. Twitter UK published a tweet from their official account on Tuesday saying, quote, "Name a better footballer than Phil Jones." It was widely condemned by United fans and subsequently deleted. Sources have told ESPN that after United complained, Twitter later apologized to Jones and the club. Now, I'm of two minds of this. On the one hand, we make a lot of fun of Phil Jones. Like, a lot of good-natured fun of Phil Jones on this show. And we don't think he's super great as a football player in the Premier League. That being said, I am sure I did not see any of these replies because I did not see the original tweet, but I am sure, knowing how the internet is and how things work, that these probably were not the most civil of replies and probably extended beyond Phil Jones as a footballer and went to other places. So, knowing that, it probably wasn't a good idea for Twitter to put something like that out there, knowing that it had the potential to just be some of the worst, vile shit ever. And just as a lesson to brands in 2020, and yeah, I'm also talking to you planners with your stupid planners nut baby. who's now 21 apparently or some bullshit. The next time you want to try to do a hip or cool or jokey Twitter post comment, type it out, have a couple different people look at it, examine it, and then fucking delete it because you're a brand and you need to shut the fuck up. Now that that's over, anything else you want to add about Phil Jones, Wes?
I just hit send on my text, so you'll see my reply in just a moment.
Is in Phil Jones's face.
Well, of course it's Phil Jones' face.
Yeah.
I mean, you're innumerable. They're great. By the way, my answer is name a better player than Phil Jones is. Everyone.
And that's fine. And that's
my Uncle Phil. Don't know what soccer is. I'm very great Phil Jones.
Oh, the Fresh Prince's Uncle Phil. Rest in peace. So yeah, just don't do this, guy. Just leave the joke in the professional.
Because that's what the internet's made for. Just make fun of Phil Jones.
I know, but the internet also gets out of hand a lot and gets mean, and I don't like it when it's mean in ways that people has Phil Jones done anything recently that deserves this, or did he do something that I miss? Like, what made Twitter just all of a sudden go, you know who we should make fun of today? Phil motherfucking Jones.
Oh no, that's kind of how I wake up every morning. I'm like, you know what? I wonder if I can make fun of Phil Jones today.
Just stop being brands. Stop it.
I also had a meme from the internet of Michelle Obama wearing an I Love Trump t-shirt. So, I mean, this is what the internet's made for, man.
Is that actually a meme?
Well, I mean, it's a picture. It's poorly photoshopped, but still pretty funny.
All right. As we now...
There's also one of Joe Biden looking very confused and it says, "Who shit my pants?"
As we move on to Pimping the Athletic, Wes, what...
Right? Stop on shit.
What articles do you want to pimp from the Athletic this week?
Oh, we're gonna start. The Athletic's just completely.
They crush it.
Amazing.
Absolutely crush it.
Okay, I'll just gotta give you guys what I haven't read yet because I'm looking forward to it. I can't even remember all the shit I've read. Bebe's journey from an orphanage to the streets, transfer in United history.
That was a good one.
I remember this dude. He was like homeless and got his break playing in like the homeless World Cup. And the next thing you know, it's like Man United's freaking signed.
Mm-hmm.
What's that? There's a really good article about Robinho, the Robinho experiment, going into really the first big name that Manchester City went out and got when Abu Dhabi took over. I think my biggest takeaway from the whole Robinho thing was he really thought that he was signing for Manchester United and didn't know who Manchester City were. And he showed up and they're like, "Oh, no, this is Manchester City." He's like, "What the fuck? Who are they? Why am I signing for them?" They're like, "Oh, he's giving you a shit ton of money." He's like, "Oh, okay, cool. I'm good then." There's an article out there on James Tarkowski, the fall and rise of James Tarkowski, of course, Burnley's captain this past year, who could be set for move somewhere. And the last one I'll throw out there, 10 years since O'Neal quit, can Villa rise again after a decade of misery? Of course, Martin O'Neill, when he was at Aston Villa, I mean, they're playing in like the Europa semifinals. At that time, the UEFA Cup, they were going deep into European competition. They were finishing easily top 7 every year in the Premier League. And since then, what has happened to my secondarily beloved Aston Villa? Definitely a nice look at that. Also, a really interesting article on Graham Souness. It's called Graham Souness of Liverpool will a lost love ever be rekindled?
Yeah, I saw that
This is freaking Souness, who lifted the European Cup in 1984. I mean, he's one of our all-time greats. Probably the 2 best midfielders ever at Liverpool are Steven Gerrard and Graham Souness. And for some reason, we're on the outs with each other. I mean, there was a lot that went down when he came back and managed Liverpool. He gave an interview to The Sun, which, I mean, you might as well sit here and Dead Warren in Liverpool talking. So there's a lot there, a lot to try to get into. Yeah. So, I mean, the Athletic just delivers. I can't say it enough how good the college football coverage is. Well worth my money. Between that and my Premier League coverage and my Liverpool coverage, just read Shakespeare's. It is worth my money, which I think is coming up in about 2 months at this point, maybe even next month sometime. But I will happily watch that money come out of my account unless they want to sponsor between now and then. Hint, please, guys. Throw me that sponsorship because I don't really have a lot of but yeah, you can't go wrong on the Athletic.
You really can't. So my two little articles real quick. One I did actually reference earlier. This is from Matt Slater. Are big clubs too big? It's a very interesting thing, talking about the Champions League and how narrow it's kind of gotten and what teams are there and stuff like that. And just also doing a lot of things with salaries and actually comparing it to a lot of American sports as well. So pretty interesting write-up there. Also, the top 60 Premier League team, or not team, but top 60 Premier League players is continuing. We're at number 41. Wes, if you don't know, would you like to take a guess at what player is at 41 who is coming in just ahead of players, if I can pull this up quickly on the rest of the 60 here. 42 was Robbie Fowler. 43 was David Ginola. 44 was James Milner. 45 was Matt Letizia. Would you like to take a guess at who is number 41?
Well, first all I've got to say is, how is God only number 42? I don't really have to take a guess. I happen to be staring at it right now. All I got to say is who's down for a party.
It's Jamie Vardy. I gotta admit, I was a little bit shocked, especially because I felt like they said that there, and I must be wrong about this. I thought they said there would only be like 2 current Premier League players in the 60, but we've already seen James Milner and David De Gea, so I don't know. I guess that was wrong. So I was
honestly, number one's going to be Virgil van Dijk.
Of course. Come on. Jamie Vardy being 41, very, very interesting choice. I haven't, for my own sanity, I haven't gone to the comments. But yeah, that's an interesting pick.
And without reading it at all, I'll sit here and give an argument for Jamie Vardy.
Go for it.
There. I mean, the guy was the driving force linchpin of the most, undeniably crazy Premier League champion of all time.
Mm-hmm.
All he does, I mean, from his story where he came from to the fact that all he does is go score 20 goals a year for a Premier League team.
Yeah.
I mean, what more can you ask for? I mean, year in, year out right now, maybe you look at Aguero and Kane, but by the way, I don't know how you can't have Aguero and Kane in this top 60.
That's true.
I mean, that's crazy to say you've only got 2 of the current in there. I understand, there are a lot of legends. You've got some really good guys in the Premier League right now that done some really good things.
I am going to look up and see, because I must be misremembering this now.
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of weird that would be it. I mean, when there's so many and I mean, yes, you're looking at guys, I mean, right now, older legends, I would say right now in the Premier League that are active, Aguero and David Silva from City. I mean, it's very hard not to have those 2 in the top 60 all-time Premier League players. As good and as important as they are.
I found it, and I know now where I made my mistake.
Okay.
So of the 60, there are 12 current Premier League players on the list. Where I got the 2 in my head was there are 2 in the top 20.
Gotcha. Okay, so Van Dijk at 1 and probably Aguero at 2. Makes sense. If you can't tell, folks, I really like Virgil van Dijk.
What? I never noticed that.
If you break into the Nash County 911 department and want to sign into my circuit system, you could probably start with some Van Dijk-related passwords. There you go. I just went inside baseball.
Oh, man.
Anyone who wants to go take some 911 calls in Nash County, North Carolina, just know there is one guy who has some Virgil van Dijk related passwords.
Oh man. So yeah,
The only person with a Dutch man's name as my password. Pretty comfortable saying that as absolute fact without really knowing the answer.
As I saw in a Reddit comment the other day, can Americans even name 2 European countries?
And then they talk to the Foreign Affair podcast. Wes, the redneck from the South,
Yes.
who takes all the pride in the world for being able to say the most random European things.
Have you heard of Luxembourg?
Oh, of course. I'm sure Germany took it over sooner.
Fair enough. So yeah,
1908.
go check out that. It is a very fascinating article for Vardy. As much as we like to joke about him, he is much more cerebral than I think his public persona lets on. There is a, kind of like how Manny Ramirez was seen as this kind of big, dumb, fun guy, but in reality, at least when it came to baseball, he was just super hyper intelligent.
Complete hitting savant.
Yeah, I get the feeling Vardy's kind of like that for soccer. So
And it's like, yeah, I kind of get that. It's like they're away from the game. Personas are so like kind of big and wild and out there that you forget just how damn good sometimes the guys are.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he's crazy. Yes, and then you put a bat in his hands and the guy's basically freaking Einstein.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like you put a microphone in front of his face and you're like, did he ride the short bus to school every day? Man, talk, just hit.
This is our fucking city.
Well, that was pop.
I know, but they were together a lot.
Well, he had been sent out of town by then. So.
Yeah.
Yes, you put a microphone in front of Manny and he's like, I'd like to play with that kitty cat. What? Manny, go the ball 500 feet. Okay.
I still remember when he tried to auction off his grill.
Seriously.
Yep.
He was amazing.
Yeah, and he was the best.
The 2007 World Series season. Jesus, man. Jeez.
He was really good. All right, moving on to the watch for. Wes, what you watching in the week that was or the week that will be? Are we? Well, no, you finished Better Call Saul and you've moved on to The Shield. That's right.
Right. I'm about halfway through season 1 of The Shield.
Okay.
God, that's all I have to say about it. It is a great show. I haven't had a lot of time to watch much this week. Actually, it's been very busy week. So The Shield has kind of been my go-to. I think Callie's in there right now watching the Dora the Explorer movie.
No.
I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know Dora is in. She's a sunshine. I'm not really gonna recommend it for anyone though. What is it that's just? It seems like something's just come out. It's supposed to be really good. I can't remember, so I'm not gonna keep going on trying to think about it. But yeah, that's kind of where I am at the moment. The Shield is my go-to show. Archer doesn't come back until September. I think other than that, I'm just kind of like watching some Seinfeld every now and then. I send a lot of Arrested Development memes and gifts. Some people wouldn't do that. I mean, you can basically take Arrested Development, put it in like any life situation, and find something for it.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It was made to be memed. I feel it was made to be memed.
I mean, they didn't know what a GIF was when they started. But by God, they absolutely nailed it.
I guess you could say it certainly blew up.
Prematurely.
It did prematurely blow up. That is definitely definitely something that happened. Speaking of Arrested Development, but more specifically Portilla de Rosa, I've started rewatching Better Off Ted. It was a 2-season show on ABC, and it was really good. But she's in it. There's a couple other people who are not super famous in it. But yeah, it's a workplace comedy. It's just one of those shows that likes to show off how evil corporate America can be in a really, really funny way. So yeah, and mad crazy scientists. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It's very short. I think it's only like maybe 30 to 40 episodes in total. So it's not going to take me very long to get through it. But yeah, I really enjoyed it because I mean I think the show now at this point is about 10 years old. So going back to rewatch is pretty funny. And how prescient some of their stuff was when it came to vaccines and whatnot. So yeah, it's super fun times. Super fun times. Is there anything else though I'm watching? I don't think so. Trying to think if there's a streamer or anything. I've been watching a lot of Mike Shinoda lately. Mike Shinoda is making a lot of music on his Twitch stream. Go check it out. It's free. So Mike Shinoda on Twitch. He's making music and it's really fun to watch. So that's what I'm gonna watch for the week. So go check it out. Twitch is insane. So that's gonna do it though for this episode of the A Foreign Affair podcast, episode 327. This is about to be in the books. Thanks once again to NGSC Sports at ngscsports.com. We never stop. You can find them on the Soch, as well as us on Twitter. We are at AFA Pod as a collective. Wes, you are?
I'm at Wes Bradshaw 21.
Hell yeah. I am at Edward Green. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube via our parent show, the All New Sports Show. And you can email us at allnewsportshow@gmail.com. Thanks to our podcast providers, including Podbean.com, Stitcher, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, the TuneIn Radio app, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts. And maybe one day we'll be on Amazon. I haven't looked too much into that, but apparently they just opened up some shit too. So who knows? Maybe one day. We'll see. I don't know. But that will do it for this episode. But before we leave you this week, Wes, anything else you want to add?
Brian Gillen's back to hitting. He's hitting just under 300 on the year. Had a bomb yesterday, a double today. As I made comment earlier, because I've got the Sports Center on, watching highlights. Had a home run rob today. So,
I did see that.
That's what happens. A guy we're going to have to keep an eye on, it looks like, this baseball season, Charlie Blackmon.
Okay.
He's a freaking 500, man.
That's pretty good.
And, I'm sorry, Charlie, but let's just say you do hit above 400 this year. It don't count.
No, it doesn't.
Sorry.
Nope.
I mean, I can't give you a 60-game season. Plenty of guys have gone a 60-game stretch and hit 400. Not to take anything away from Charlie Blackmon, but he kind of is what it is.
Yeah.
So keep an eye on that. If you're a big fan of our side gig, which is high school football from the great state of North Carolina, you're screwed. High school football has been pushed back till the very earliest that you can start practice now is February 8th. So I got the schedule and everything. Football practice can start February the 8th. You know when baseball practice can start?
Like March?
April the 26th.
Oh, okay.
And then you have till the middle of June to be done with the baseball season. So what I've heard about high school football is basically if you do it in February, you can have like a 7-day season.
Okay.
Which it doesn't sound like there will be any playoffs with that. Basketball has a January start, I think.
Okay.
I mean, if there is anything, it's all going to be like extremely truncated down. So I'm mentally preparing myself for. I'm mentally preparing myself for the next 6 months of having like none of the sports that I enjoy. It's like, oh great, I'll have the NFL and the NBA. What you friggin' do?
Oh man.
I think my phone's going to be filled with lots of trips to the apple orchard and whatever else basic white people do on days when they're not watching football, because that's usually what I do in the fall. I watch football. So.
Well, let me tell you, people out there who used to frequent, and I know this is going to be a tough season, especially depending on what happens with college football. I know there's a lot of you out there who go to like a place like Buffalo Wild Wings, let's say, and like to watch college football and eat mediocre chicken wings and high-priced fries. If you're into that sort of thing and you're like, but Edward, what am I going to watch at Buffalo Wild Wings if there's no college football this season? Well, let me tell you what. It's going to be okay. Because esports has saved the day once again. League of Legends, the North American League for League of Legends has signed a partnership deal with Buffalo Wild Wings to become an official partner of the LCS. It will be a multi-year partnership that includes a streaming deal, and it's the first of its kind, bringing the LCS to restaurants around the United States. Furthermore, the partnership is set to bring unique new menu items and merchandise. The first time they'll be incorporated in the broadcast is during the LCS playoffs, which starts in about 14 hours from... No, what's 4 o'clock? 16 hours. 16 hours from now. So, head on down to Buffalo Wild Wings, everyone. And go watch some League of Legends. It just... Okay, so true story, and then we'll get out of here, I swear, guys. Overwatch, which is also another esport. It's a shooter game. Their finals was actually being aired on ESPN2, I think it was last year. And when it was going on, I was at an establishment that rhymes with Barolina Bale Bows here in North Carolina. I'm sure nobody will be able to figure out where that is. And I asked one of the servers if they could put one of the smaller, tinier off-the-side TVs on ESPN2, which, does seem that crazy. And sure enough, they put it on, and Overwatch was on there. And then I heard what I would kindly call an older gentleman sit in the booth behind me say, "Oh, watching this shit on TV, I'm going to get them to change it." So, I'm very interested, having been to a few Buffalo Wild Wings. Not that it's my favorite place in the world. I'm very interested to see how that clientele will react to seeing League of Legends on the TV. Oh, man.
It's ready for some desert heat wings, is all I can say. It's a dry rub, no sauce necessary.
If you want a dry rub, prepare for the raping North America is going to get at Worlds this year, everybody. Boom! Nailed it.
Just went full West Branch.
It's okay, because it's the internet. I can say that.
We'll have to make sure that Lee of all people completes it out.
Yes, please. I'm just kidding. North America's gonna do great. We're gonna do great at the World Championship. I swear. China and Korea aren't totally gonna destroy us. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be great, guys. Don't worry.
Somewhere because they don't battlefield.
Oh, Europe's even gonna miss. All right, that's gonna do it for this episode of the Foreign Affair Podcast. For McCall and Crime, Wes Bradshaw, I am Edward Green. Thanks so much for joining us here this week. And until next time, stay safe. Wash your hands and enjoy the football.
Hey, good night. You guys gave it your all.
Yeah.
You got me hard.
Little clap for you guys. A little polite clap for you. Oh, man. Tough break.
You're listening to NGSC Sports Radio. Hear us live on NGSCsports.com, where you can get awesome analysis for all things sport. Or check out our podcasts on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, iTunes, TuneIn, and much more. For our latest videos, head to NGSC Sports YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at NGSC Sports and like us on Facebook. NGSC Sports. We never stop.